There's a certain word that a lot of people use nowadays for a lot of new movies, and that word is cash grab. But the thing is, no matter how big or small the movie is, at the end of the day, it all matters on making money, okay? Even if it's got great acting, a great story, based on a true story, no matter what, at the end of the day, producers, actors, directors, they gotta care about, does the movie profit? Does it make money, okay? So the word cash grab gets thrown around a lot, and I sometimes think it's used very wrongly, in my opinion. But when that word is used, I'm gonna think about this movie. How to Train Your Dragon stars Mason Thames is about Vikings and dragons alike on the Isle of Berk. Hiccup and Toothless become the key to both species forging a new future. From director Dean DeBlois, sorry if I said his last name wrong, he directed the original How to Train Your Dragon and its two sequels, and now he's directing the live-action remake, How to Train Your Dragon. So just like everyone, I'm kind of tired of the live-action Disney remakes, okay? They're pointless, they're all cash grabs. There's been a few good ones, like a handful of ones, but most of them have just been, okay, I get it, money, it's cool to see it in live action. That's basically it. But now we have a DreamWorks property getting a live-action treatment, and I went into the movie basically the same way. I was like, the trailers look cool, okay? I'll give it that. But at the end of the day, I hope there is a good reason why this is being told in live action, because that original movie is awesome. I saw this back in 2010 in 3D. It was only 15 years ago, which 15 years ago, who? But this is a good movie, okay? I actually watched it 3 weeks ago on 4K to get ready for this new one. So I went in tonight in IMAX, and I was like, all right, I hope it's good. That's all I could really ask for. And I can say this. The director, the writer, it was the same person, and the actors, everybody in this movie who made this movie, you can tell they cared about the original property. They care about the property, the fans, the treatment of the story, and I appreciate that, because at the end of the day, you gotta make sure the fans enjoy this movie, or else you're gonna have, like a Snow White situation, where they're just gonna hate it no matter what before even going into the theater. I truly feel like this is one of the better live-action remakes in quite some while, honestly. So let's start with the positives. First things first, I think the entire cast played their parts very well. I think obviously Gerard Butler returning as the dad, that really worked. He embodies the character, his vocals, his voice, his dialect. Like he is the dad, and I'm glad he returned. Mason Thames as Hiccup, he is no Jay Baruchel, in my opinion. He doesn't fit like that nerdy type character. I think he's a little too good looking for a young kid, whatever. But overall, as Hiccup, he did a good job. He played the part. He had the nerd parts in him. But when it came more into the action things, it morely fit his look. And honestly, in that original movie, I felt like such a nerdy kid on a dragon really worked for the animated movie. This time, it just felt like a really pretty actor is on top of a CGI dragon. I was like, yeah, that looks about right. I feel like it could have been more intriguing of like a person that wasn't as like nice looking, which again, I don't know how old he is, so I could sound like a creep right now. But either way, he was good in the movie. He did the part of Hiccup. I thought Nico Parker as Astrid was good. I know there's people out there who are just bitching about her being obviously not blonde and the skin tone, whatever. I thought for the character she was playing from the original movie, she did a good job, okay? Nick Frost, I thought the other people who played the bullies and then become the friends, I thought everyone in the cast played the parts that were from the original movie. I thought they all did their part. When it comes to the direction, very well, honestly. I mean, it's the guy who made the original trilogy, so I would hope it'd be good. And I thought he did a very good job recapturing the friendship between Hiccup and Toothless, which Toothless is a CGI dragon. It's still cute. You still want to hug Hiccup and Toothless together the whole time. Their connection is the heartbeat of this movie. It transfers very well, in my opinion. I thought all their scenes was very good. The first time, obviously, with that score hitting when he's flying, whatever, the best scene in the movie, especially in IMAX. It really is, like, just awesome to hear and see. Speaking of hearing, the sound mixing, the sound design, very good. But that score is so great from the original movie. I am so glad the original composer came back and did this new one. He did a fantastic job. I truly think the music might be the best part of the movie, honestly. So overall, it recaptures that original movie in some of its best ways. It gives it that big scale effect in the third act, all the action, obviously, the big dragon, whatever. Seeing it in live action and hearing it and feeling it in IMAX, it was cool. I was like, this is really cool to watch right now. This is really well made. This has got some great, impactful third act awesomeness. And everything else before that was good build between Toothless and Hiccup. It all worked, but there is just one thing. This movie, I mean, I remember watching the original Psycho for the first time and being like, this is an amazing movie. And then I watched the 1998 and I was like, it's a shot-to-shot remake of that movie. What's the point of this movie? This movie is 95% the original movie. Same dialogue, same shots. I mean, I'm telling you, I bet you there was one time watching this movie, there was a monitor with the original movie on. I was like, yeah, let's recreate that shot. That is this movie. I mean, it's the original. There's same shots in this movie. Now, I did watch this about 3 weeks ago on 4K. It's a great movie. Great movie. So watching it and having that fresh memory in my head of the shots of this movie, going in this movie and noticing that, it bogged me down. Now, for someone who hasn't seen it maybe in a long time, or if you've never seen the original How to Train Your Dragon, you'll probably love this movie and you'll be like, this is amazing. The next thing I'm going to tell you is you should watch the original. It's the original. It's the animated version. And I'm just always going to sit here and tell you, this version is fine. It's well made, it's well acted, it's got everything from the original mostly, and then it does some stuff better, then it does some stuff worse. Biggest thing is the jokes and some of like the physicality from the original movie. Some things just work in animation that don't work in live action. Some expressions, some physical movements, stuff like that. So like, one thing that they changed in this movie, again, this is very minor, don't worry. So in the original, when the dad and everyone's on the boat and they go inside the fog, they don't show you what happens. It's a big flash of a dragon's shadow and it cuts to the next scene. In this movie, we get an extra minute of kind of an intense scene. I was in the theater, I was like, this is great. This is something new. We're seeing what happened. It's only like a minute long, but at least it felt something fresh, something different, new shots. Because this movie, like I said, is the same shots, same dialogue. It's shot-to-shot remake most of this movie. At the end, the third act, some of the scaling shots, different from the original, obviously. But at the end of the day, it's the exact same movie. And that's it. Like, that's my issue. I walk away saying, why was this made? And here's my prediction. Here's my theory. Epic universe, big theme park thing. Toothless is now an actual thing at this park. You can go touch Toothless. I would love to meet Toothless. That'd be awesome. I feel like the producers of this movie were like, hey, Epic Universe, we got a brand new Toothless theme happening. How to Train Dragon's about to be huge at this park. Why don't we remake this trilogy? Because they've already announced a sequel, so we're probably going to get the third one. Let's make the movies again in live action with Epic Universe. It happened like a couple weeks ago, and it's open, and this movie comes out. That's a great marketing thing. That's great for money and business. So, like, I look at this movie and I say, this is a cash grab. Is it bad, though? No, it's not, because it is the original. It's the same movie with a few things changed. Literally 5%. Everything else, it's the same movie. So what I'm going to tell you is, this is not a bad movie. It's not. It's very well made. It's well put together. You can tell there's care for the characters. I think fans of the original should like this one, but it's the same movie. There was nothing about this movie that said, hey, here's the reason why it's different. There was a few things. There was something, obviously, in the very beginning with Astrid, she tells dialogue to Hiccup about certain things of like what she wants to do when she becomes the head of this village. That stuff was different. It gave her a little bit more character development. I like that. I'm like, all right, that's a little bit new. But then you do the very next shot, it's the same shot from the original. Like, seriously, there is literally the exact same editing, same shots from the original. And as a person that just watched it, I'm like, I'd rather be watching the original. But this version is fine. I'm going to give How to Train Your Dragon a B. And if anyone was curious, I would not give the original a B. I would probably give the original an A- because I think it's well paced. It's like 90 minutes long. This one is almost 2 hours. And if you're like, why is this one longer than the other one if it's a shot-for-shot remake? They do extra shots. They do extra stuff like that with like the fog scene. They add like a couple minutes. And then you got to add in like 10 minutes of credits. So there's stuff in this movie that barely make it an hour and a half. So that's why it's a little bit longer. But again, it's the same movie. It's going to make a ton of money. It's a cash grab. That's what it is. But it's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. But I think if you're a diehard fan, like super diehard, like you love that original to death, you're probably going to dislike this movie just as much as you probably dislike the live-action Lion King. That's my opinion. Okay, so again, it's fine. It's fine, but I'd rather watch the original. Anyway, guys, enjoy this movie review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.